Greetings. I've always been interested in the old internet. Things like ancient forums, old YouTube, and the general atmosphere of that era. It's like archaeology, scouring the ruins of once busy web, looking for treasures lost to the SEO algorithms. I started playing Dota 2 in 2017, and I've always been curious about the game's past, particularly the pre-Reborn era. With the latest patch introducing significant changes, I felt like it was the perfect time to delve into the history of our favorite heroes and their old iterations, and assess their viability in the current game environment. I used the Wayback Machine to access the 2014 Dota Bulk website and look for builds. I decided to use Turbo as a testing ground for this experiment since what I am doing is practically griefing. First, I searched for Night Stalker, obviously. At this point, the data was at 6.81 and my poor Night Stalker stood at a 49% win rate. And honestly, this is kinda sad. The poor bastards didn't have access to Echo Saber at that time. They also built Armlet and Vladimir, which makes sense because you would have to scrape together anything you can to be viable. I then took a look at his skill build, which was apparently Void into Hunter in the Night, which makes sense I guess since before patch 7.20, daytime lasted 4 minutes, and you usually get to level 4 at around 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Here's the build I decided to go after looking at the items. Bracer into Phase Boots, into Urn of Shadow, into Vladimir, into Armlet, and into Basher. Then I got a BKB and then go for an Abyssal or Assault Keyres if the game lasted longer. I think I'm going to go with the Night Rain faster because we're going to get our level 3 much more sooner. And I also can't buy a Mango since that item was introduced in 2015. And remember, we're in 2014 right now. Nice. It's very hard not to buy a Mango. I mean, that item is so good at this, doing what it does, giving you some instant mana and also some health regen, but it's small, but it's still good. Alright, now we get our Crippling Fear. Nice. Just have to get another. I mean, Vlad's also gives you some mana regen, so I guess that's nice. This one gives 1.4 mana regen, and that one also gives you some mana. Yeah, I guess this means that I can't get a shard either. And that's one of the best items you can get on Night Stalker. I remember that even back in 2017, 2016, 2018, a lot of heroes used to get the Vladimir. I remember Ursa loved it, and PA also. I remember building Vladimir on PA too. You know what? This build is actually not that bad right now. Honestly, I don't think Vladimir's lifesteal is enough for Omelette. I'm not entirely sure if they had Spirit Vessel at 2014, so I'm just gonna sell the Urn of Shadows and buy a BKB. Night Stalker right now is, not the Night Stalker of 2014. He's kind of so good. I mean, 2014 he would have used the Manta and dispelled the silence, but not because of it's an AoE. You can't do anything. And not to mention that Night Stalker's ultimate in 2014 kind of sucked. Alright, so I guess that was a success. Well, that went well. Next, I tried Necrophos. Are you tired of the Radiance Rush? Are you looking for a more reliable way to itemize? Look no further, because you can buy power trades into Mechanism. Now you see, Guardian Grease was introduced in 2015, so it was common back then for heroes to get a casual Mechanism for that extra aura. Necrophos typically went for a power threads into Mechanism and then into an axe, and also Bloodstone or Scythe of Vice. This was back in those days where Necro's axe would disable buybacks. Fun times. Also, he didn't have Ghost Shroud, instead he had Sadist, but now he has both, so we won't try to do the old skill build of that era because he has different abilities now. Well, let's try Necro in 2014. Alright. Back then your supports would give you 2 tangos and a ward to go mid, but they removed that. So against the lineup, I think I might rush a pipe. And then I don't want to get the Ags until, later. I know they rush Aghanim because of its value with the scythe, but I don't think it's really necessary right now. I think I can go the Bloodstone and scythe before I need to get the axe. Now that I think of it, I think power treads. I think right now Arcane Boots is a better option, but back then the courier was shared, and Arcane Boots. You had to buy a component of it in the shop. Yep.
Enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Let's get a Bloodstone. I guess pipe is not enough against that. For that you would need an Eternal Shroud, which didn't exist back then. I guess I would also need a Blink Dagger, since I can't get a shard. I should get a Blink Dagger. I think they did purchase that back then. Well, what are my thoughts on this build? Simply, it's not good. You see, nowadays we have access to items like Sanjankaya, Aghanim Shard, Eternal Shroud, Shiva's Guard, and Guardian Greaves. There are so many better ways to build Necro than this. I was not very satisfied with the items from the old Dota buff, since they weren't even item builds and just some of the more popular items. I needed a place to get inside the mind of players back then, in what order they build their items and what skills they choose. So I went to a website called Dotafire and checked out some of the old builds from 2014. I found a few guides for Doom, Jungling Doom, Safe Lane Carry Doom, and Doom from the Shadows, and finally Utility Doom. Let's see what the author has to say about him. Lucifer the Doombringer is a melee strength hero who fulfills a number of roles. He's primarily played as a carry or utility hero who can jungle effectively from early game. Now that Devour can be used on all creeps from level 1, Lucy is a very good jungler as long as he has enough mana for his spells. Late game, he's a terrifying force, making everyone whose level is a multiplier of 3 very scared. Yep, this was back in the days where Dota 2 had a dedicated jungler, and the poor offlane bastard would have to fend off against 3 heroes. Let's see what it says about the safe laner Doom. I would never put Doom in the hard lane. He's just too slow and vulnerable early on, not to mention extremely farm-lined as he does nothing without items. To play safe lane Doom, focus on last hitting and staying alive. Put 1 point into level death, as you won't need to scorch earth that often and the extra nuke really helps. In addition, unless you can really get it early, like 5 to 6 minutes early, I wouldn't bother with Midas and would instead build your Link of Basilius into a Vlad's. Your core is the same and your endgame is the same, but you will become more active with the team and your farm rate may be a bit slower depending on your last hitting ability and how contested the lane is. It is also possible, if the lane is pushed to the tower, to go into the jungle and eat the nearest camp rather than just sit on your hands and wait for the wave to come towards you again. Well, I guess they didn't hear about polling back then. But for now, let's see what Doom has to offer. Alright, here's what Safe Lane Carry Doom typically wants to build. Phase Woods into Ring of Region. Ring of Basilius. Good start. I guess they built it like this back then. That was fast. And then a Vladimir. Then we also get a level into our Infernal Blade. And specifically they didn't do this, but you know, it's nice. The build said something about getting a troll something. I think it's the one that gives you movement speed. Yep. I think I can kill him. Yep. Now I can definitely kill him. Alright, I can go there. We get a rod ate us. I don't know why, but well, we gotta get it. Now we get it. It's satanic. For some reason. I guess it's good dispel. I'll use it anyway. Slotted. I should be able to kill them all. I wasn't able to kill them all. But I guess there's a reason that Doom is not played as a position 1. What can we learn from this experiment? Well, in today's Dota, heroes have a more defined characteristics and a more diverse choice of items to help them fill that role. Things like Carry Jack Hero, Safe Lane Pudge, and many other exciting builds would never have been possible during that era. I think Dota 2 is in a better place today. It has so many more quality of life changes and smoother gameplay. My only issue is that they're not fucking releasing Ringmaster. Valve, please release. And as usual, if you like the video, feel free to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. But for now, goodbye.